Well, hey there. Who do we have? Jenny and Kim and Vicky. And this is funny. So FBC Clowncroft says good morning, and the host says the same thing. I don't know why the difference. Isn't that weird?
I was going to ask you if there is a difference.
Yeah. So that's just fun.
All right, but here we are.
We are here. It's
live
Friday.
on
It's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. And got big plans for tomorrow, do you?
Oh yeah.
Involves maybe some rocks and a little bit of dirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I have big plans tomorrow.
What are you doing?
Involves some kids.
Oh.
The Young Lives Ablaze conference.
Huh.
Although I kind of did my part months ago, so I should just be able to stand there and look.
I would try that.
So I recorded a couple of the teaching videos right here in this studio. That's why we have the blackout deal, because it needed to be dark, and I didn't want to wait until dark to do the videos.
Okay. Good deal.
I'm sorry. I'm giving that away, Kim. Not Kim. Vicky. To Kim too. I'm giving that away. So when you look at the videos, it wasn't really nighttime. Just ruined it for you all.
I don't need to watch it now.
but they're humorous. They're entertaining.
I have this.
Okay. You got the live thing.
Yeah.
So man, we're talking about Uncluttered.
Still?
Yeah.
We're not uncluttered yet?
We are not. We're not going to be uncluttered for a couple of more weeks.
Okay.
Actually, we might be uncluttered after next week. But then we're going to have to talk about how do we stay that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have it all figured out?
No, that's why I have you.
Well, you are talking to the wrong person.
So we've been talking about Uncluttered. This last week, the message was on breathing room. So creating some breathing room in your life. We're created for that. God made us that way. Created everything in 6 days. And the word says rested, and that's a little, still moving, Roxy. Boy, he knows. He is on top of it.
Yeah.
No, good morning, Dennis. Don't get anything past that guy. And so
got me figured out. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's his hobby. Actually, he's been doing that for years. He did take a little bit of a break and moving. No, you didn't much. Because they fell and you had to start moving those again.
Yeah, that's right. There's always rocks to move. I mean, in Cloudcroft.
I know. I had a bunch of river rocks that I carried from house to house, like a trailer load. They were really nice rocks. And when they called me to be pastor here, one of the first things Cynthia said was, "You're not bringing those rocks." So my neighbors were all envious. They were nice river rocks, and I had a bunch. So my neighbor, an older couple where we came from across the street, they had been praying with us, about a church. And so they knew we were here and came back and said, "Yeah, they called me, we're going." And he says, "Congratulations. Can I have your rocks?" And I said, "Sure." She told me I'm not taking them. I am not kidding. This guy was in his 80s. Go in the house. I mean, we just gotten home. It was Tuesday or something like that, from here. And look out there, and dude's got a little red wagon. This is within minutes of us getting home and telling him that we're coming here and he can have our rocks. He's already taken the rocks over. He's not taking any chances. Archie was his name.
Wow. If I ever move, I don't know how I'm going to transport all my rocks.
Just don't move. Yeah.
I might not be able to.
So that was pretty funny. Cynthia wouldn't let me bring my rocks, but Archie took them gladly. And that was so other
wagon load at a time.
It took him a while. Yeah, he didn't get them all that day because it was 5 o'clock that day. So we moved into that house right before Hope was born. So then Hope was born, and we'd only been there for a few weeks, maybe. We hadn't even met our neighbors yet. And there was Cynthia's mom was there. She came like after Hope was a couple of weeks old to help. and there was a thunderstorm, and the lightning hit the electric pole behind the neighbor across the street's house, and it came in and set their house on fire.
Wow.
And so it's pouring rain. Fire department's here. The neighbors are in our living room because where else are they going to go, right? And we're in there. So that's how we get to know our neighbors right off of the bat. It's like, hey, sorry about your house, but
Nice to meet
we're
you.
your new neighbors. So they were there for just a few weeks while we were there, and then they were out for about 5 or 6 months while they had their house fixed. And
Wow.
yeah, that's how we met them. So anyhow, Uncluttered.
Uncluttered.
We had 3 garage sales before we moved here to unclutter, to downsize. The last one, I told Cynthia, we are not bringing anything back in. And so you're thinking, well, what do you do? So after the garage sale, we boxed everything up and put it at the side of the road. And the next day, only thing left was empty boxes on purpose. I mean, we knew that would happen, but that's what you did there. But they stacked the boxes all nice. I don't know why they didn't just take all the boxes.
Yeah.
But just emptied the boxes.
Okay.
So here's what we're gonna
get uncluttered.
How do we do that? You guys. Oh, good morning, Kathy. She snuck in on us. So you guys tell us, because we're talking about this, but I'm a real practical kind of guy. Rubber meets the road, or where the rock meets the dirt for you.
Yeah.
So how do we unclutter? So give us some ideas on how do we unclutter. You guys chime in. This is your opportunity to shine.
Well, I did move rocks from inside my house to the outside. That helped unclutter.
Did you?
Yes.
You did that.
I did.
You actually.
I did.
And we're going to talk about this in a couple of weeks. So you created a room, and then you filled it up with stuff.
Yes.
Okay. See, that's we were going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. How do we not clutter back up? Now, it may not be cluttered.
It's not cluttered. And what I did is I made more room in the shed by bringing stuff from the shed into the room that no longer had the rocks.
So this is one of my biggest problems.
Yeah.
Not with you.
Oh.
I don't have any problems with you.
Okay.
Occasionally, but we work them out. So one of my biggest problems is whenever I unclutter, something else gets cluttered up. So when I uncluttered the studio, something else got cluttered up. Did that ever happen to you? Whenever you clean out a room, another one ends up with all the stuff?
Well, yeah. It's a more organized clutter.
Well, but still, because it's hard for me just to get rid of stuff.
Well, I guess I suffer that same problem. Except, is it really a problem? I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of, Kim, what I do is just, except I hope my life's not sinking. And keep playing, boys. Keep playing. So that's what's hard for me. And I think when we're talking about uncluttering, that's probably what's hard for us in a lot of realms, is to cut some things out. Right? We want to shift things around,
right?
Try to make them more organized.
Yep.
But cutting things out. So you guys, help us. We need your help. How do you unclutter? Not that way, Kim. Yeah. You are in a big group. You have lots of friends in that boat. Most people who have storage units don't touch anything in there for years. You just put them in there. Now, I have a little shed. I'd say little. It's a decent sized shed. And I move stuff because I pretty well have to empty the shed to get to whatever it is I'm looking for, and then put it all back. Yeah. So I'm always moving stuff. But if I just got rid of some of the things, it would be better.
I did have a breakthrough this week. I let Tony haul away a bunch of my rocks.
No.
Yeah.
You gave away rocks?
I did. I let him take them.
That's a big step for
It
you.
is.
Where do you take them?
Somebody else needed some fill, so he hauled it over there.
You missed a perfect opportunity.
I'm sorry.
To a storage shed.
Oh, there you go.
So,
yep.
So you might check that storage shed, Kathy. There might be some rocks in there now, because you never know when you're going to need some good rocks.
I always need good rocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got some. I don't know how you move some of those. You have the Egyptians' secrets on how to move big blocks.
Yes. No, I have moved big rocks on logs and pushed them along. I'm sure that's how they built the pyramids.
Levers and pulleys, and I'm not sure what would rolling them on. Some of you physics kind of people, what would rolling a rock on a log? What would that? Is that a lever? Still a form of a lever? I don't know. I don't know what that is.
What you'd call it.
You call it smart.
Yeah.
So you guys, okay. Oh wow. I was just thinking that when you said that you have storage unit and you've never gotten anything out of it for 3 years. I have clothes that I'm sure I haven't worn in 3 years that I don't have any room to hang stuff in my closet because it's full. Not that I ever wear any of that. I mean, occasionally, but
I have a full closet also. It keeps me from buying new stuff.
If I had all of my clothes cleaned and put away at the same time, I wouldn't have room for everything.
Wow.
That because it's just the way I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Different shoes for every day. Now I wear the same shoes every day, but I have enough shoes to have different shoes for every day. Yeah. Anyhow, so we're talking about how we're cluttered, but how do you unclutter? So that's a good way. So go through your closet and clean. Yeah. Mine does the same thing, Dennis. That's weird. We need to fix our closets. Yeah, I'm in a weird in between size that I need a large and a half. I'm not an extra large, but some of my large are a little bit tight. I need a large and a half, or I could just. Dennis, let's hide in the closet and maybe we'll shrink. Wait, I can't afford it height-wise. Never mind. Yeah. So how do we unclutter? How do we unclutter our lives? Not just with stuff, physical things, but how do we unclutter? They're all saying that's why we tune in. We're trying to
looking for the answers.
Mm-hmm.
They call Tony. He'll haul it away for you.
Yeah. Kathy's thinking, no, he'll bring it here. So how do we unclutter our lives? You guys help us out. Y'all aren't being super helpful just yet. Just so you know. How do you do that? I think we're going to ask the expert here in a minute, but we wanted to let you guys prime the pump for us.
The expert.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing too. This happens with most stuff in the Bible. Knowing what to do and doing it are two different things.
Yes.
So I'm convinced that we know what to do. We may not quite know how to get there, but we know what to do.
I kicked the kids out of the house. That helped a lot. I got rid of a lot of clutter.
My clutter just kind of grows. Yeah, it's a life of its own. It's like little bunnies. Yeah. So say no to things that don't enhance. So that's a great place to start. Okay. Kim's a sharp cookie. I don't think those metaphors go together, but sharp cookie.
Yeah, don't cut yourself while you're eating.
I think, yeah. So I don't know. That kind of seems right, but it kind of doesn't. Anyhow, smart cookie. That's what I was looking for. She's a smart cookie. I don't know how a cookie could be smart, but So she's a smart oatmeal raisin cookie. So the first thing to do if you want to unclutter, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're not going to write this down?
Oh, here, let me get ready here.
Is to say no to new things.
Okay.
And the way Kim put it was say no to things that don't enhance, so spiritually, physically, emotionally. But let's pick on Tony because he's not on right now. Kathy is. He might be on. He hasn't said anything, but Kathy is. So let's pick on Tony. So if Tony and Kathy sat down, it would be more like Kathy saying we need to talk because that's what guys hate to hear from their wives. So we need to talk, and she sits Tony down. And she says, you know what? We need to unclutter. We've got so much stuff. We need to get rid of some of the stuff. And that day, Tony came home with another trailer load of stuff. The first thing she would say, because I know Kathy, is stop bringing stuff home. If we can't unclutter if you keep cluttering, right? By the way, Tony's apparently working at your house right now.
Oh.
That's why he's not on.
Hauling rocks away, maybe.
Yeah. He's helping you unclutter.
That's right.
So the first thing we have to do is to stop bringing in more clutter.
Right.
Right.
That's why I keep my my closet chock full of clothes. There's no room for anything new.
I thought that's why you always kept that gate closed. You can only park down at the end of your house. You don't let us park up close to the door.
Yeah. No, I was going to
keeping
say
the clutter out and the riffraff.
I was going to say that's why I still wear clothes I wore in high school because my closet's full. I can't get anything new.
If only my clothes that I wore in high school fit. I don't want to go back to 6th grade. That's when Mom got me hot pink bell bottoms. But
you still have those?
No. I don't want to go back.
You have a hard time getting rid of things.
I have a hard time getting rid of that image. So the first thing that you have to do if you want to unclutter is to stop cluttering. Okay. You have to stop adding things. Okay. I know that sounds hard.
I have this habit of like building more rooms so that it appears that I have less clutter.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Good morning, Jim. Jim's got the answer. What we're talking about, Jim.
He was running late because he was busy uncluttering his life.
Yeah, that's it. He's got it all done now. Yeah. So Jim, we're asking you guys the questions. How do we unclutter? How do we do that? And so the first thing we talked about, Kim came up with this, is to say no to things that don't enhance. So the bigger principle is to stop cluttering. So don't add while you're uncluttering. You're not adding stuff. Yeah. It would be a bit like cleaning out your closet and then bringing more stuff in, right? So we're going to talk about that's the last message in the series.
Okay.
Is to stand firm. So first of all is to stop cluttering. Okay, how else do you unclutter? Come on, guys, you know this. And this is actually leading into that's what we're going to talk about on Sunday. This Sunday. Yeah, a couple of days from now. That one. You still look perplexed.
No, okay. I mean, I told you how I did it. I kicked the kids out of the house.
You kicked the kids out. Did it help any?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I had them take their clutter with them.
Oh, okay. Make room for your clutter.
Yeah. All right.
So stop cluttering. How else do you unclutter? Come on, guys. You got this. I know you do. We have a few more minutes. I'm going to get a drink of coffee and think about it for a second. It's a daily chore. Ooh. So it's a continual thing. It's not a one and done.
What?
Yeah, I know. Nothing in my life is a one and done, I think. My best friend, when we had Hillary, the oldest, told me kids were expensive. He didn't tell me they were expensive for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is basically the heart of what we're going to talk about on Sunday. Kim Nell, I told you she's a sharp cookie.
Sharp.
Yeah, I'm going back to my first metaphor.
Okay.
Yeah, the smart oatmeal raisin cookie. So if you're gonna unclutter, first of all, you need to decide the things you have to keep.
Right.
Right. And that's uh, uh, you, you ignore that too often about the things you keep, or just not constantly uncluttering. Here's the deal: we have to. This is the title of the message for Sunday. Well, what is the title for Sunday? I don't remember. Anyhow, the big idea is we have to learn to say no to the right things. Now, that sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But when we're saying no, we need to learn what things to say no to, and what things not to say no to. So you have to decide what do you keep. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm stuck on this. It's a continual effort because
that messed him up.
Because really, I mean, if you want me to unclutter something, I can go into a room and make it look less cluttered.
Organize your clutter.
I can organize the clutter. But doing it continually, now I've just cluttered up my life with uncluttering.
So I know some parents that go at it this way. Are you ready? Because when you have little kids, they get toys all the time. So birthday, Christmas, what they do is the toys so they get toys. Let's say they get 5 toys, and they tell the kid, okay, you choose 5 of your toys that you have to give away. We're going to give it to some other kid. So what they're doing there, that this isn't the priority thing, but it's going back to your deal, the continual, that when you add something, you have to let something go. But because here's we're talking about creating breathing room, so we need to have breathing room in our life, and we can't add stuff without taking away that. But once we create the breathing room, we can't add stuff without taking away from the breathing room. One in, one out. That it ought to be that. Now I'm getting all convicted. I think I'm gonna go home and clean out my closet. So that kind of idea. Once we create some breathing room, this is really getting to the last one, but the last message. But we have to. It's a continual thing. We have to intentionally not clutter it back up.
Okay, I'm pretty good with breathing room. I do breathe.
Whether you need to or not.
At least once a day.
Yeah.
I make it a priority.
So okay, so let's go back to the closet metaphor, because we kind of seem stuck on that one, and I'm getting real convicted about that.
Okay.
So here's my problem in my closet is it's so full that I can't. It's hard to find things. Like when you try to push, back to look through stuff, there's no room to push back. So we got to create room. So
that's where my organizational strategy comes in. I can find stuff in my full closet. I know exactly where everything is.
Oh, you're so funny. his what do you call it? Clothes rod. What do you call that? Is it a clothes rod?
Yeah, sure.
Is hanging like this.
Yeah.
With all your stuff in. So all the important stuff goes to the middle. Is that it?
I have it organized.
Yeah. So let's go back to the other one. You're stuck on the continual thing.
That's right. And I am breathing, everybody.
At least once a minute, right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do, first of all, if you're going to unclutter, is decide what you got to keep.
Got to make a decision.
What's important.
All right.
Because what we're trying to do is to get rid of some of the things that are not important or are less important. But we don't want to get rid of any of the important things. So when I clean out my shed, which I do almost every time I have to find something, I pull everything out, and then what I put the big stuff back first. You know what I mean?
Right. Got to make sure you have room for that.
Yeah. So I put the big stuff in. So that would be the important things, not necessarily, but if we're using the metaphor, the important things in first. So I make sure that I have room for those. So I put the big stuff in first. I know I have room for those. And then I'll put the other stuff back. And I usually go in order of size, which metaphorically is importance.
Oh, okay.
So then the little stuff can fill in the gaps if there are any. But it's better that this is the second one. So the first one is you have to decide what to keep. The second one is you have to decide how much room you need. Because I can reorganize my clutter, pull everything back, and I can fit everything back in because it all came out of there, right? But I still don't have room in there to get around and get the stuff I need in my shed.
So you're probably telling me that my strategy of adding rooms is not a good one.
Well, so Jesus told the story of a guy in the Bible when we're talking about stuff, and we are talking about stuff, that he prospered and his barns were full. And he said, you know what I'll do? I'll build more barns. And Jesus said, you fool, tonight your soul will be required of you.
Man, that just depressed me.
So we don't need to have room we don't need to try to make room for more stuff. We need to get rid of stuff to make room with what we have.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong, you're telling me?
Pretty much.
Don't listen to me, folks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. How many hours do you have in a day?
24.
24.
I counted them once.
How
While
many
I wasn't
hours?
sleeping.
Yeah. How many hours do you think the president of the United States has in a day?
24.
Mm-hmm. How many hours do you think that the wealthiest man in the world has in a day?
Probably 25 or 26.
Nope.
I think he bought some from some other people.
Unless you're traveling east, you're not going to keep gaining time that way.
That's
but
right.
even
No,
so,
I get you.
on his watch, it's still going to be 24 hours. So
that's right.
We all have the same amount of time. So we need to get out of this idea that somehow I can arrange things so I have more time. Have you ever heard that?
Yep.
Someday when I have more time.
I've heard that.
It's not true. You're never going to have more time than you have now.
Right.
So it's what we do with the time. Jim says, I need to know which no. Well, so the first thing is decide what's important. What are the important things?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then make sure we get those in. Then we need to decide, number two, is how much room do we need? So let's go back to the shed metaphor.
Okay.
If I said, I want to leave this area open so I can walk in. So the way that most sheds work, the door is at the front in the middle. So I would make it a horseshoe. And when you walk in, I have stuff on the left and on the right, all the way down, then stuff on the back wall. So it's a horseshoe, right?
So you can walk in the middle.
And if I said, I want to leave 4 feet of room in the middle. So I decide how much room I'm going to leave.
Right.
If I was smart, I would paint on the floor the room that I want to leave open.
Yeah.
So that if something falls into that, I say, no, that can't go there. Yeah. Something's got to go.
You can do another lesson on boundaries sometime.
That would be a boundary. Yes. So Hope likes the word guardrails. There's your guardrails. But to decide how much room I have, and as best you can, mark that out. Now there will be times that something has to go in the middle just for a short period of time. If Kim says, "Hey, I'm gonna get Paul a wood splitter. Can I store it at your house for a little bit?" So we could store that in the middle for a little bit. That's okay. That's just there for a little bit. I'm making this up totally.
Okay.
Because you have a wood splitter?
I do, but I often,
Is it right here?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's called an axe.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't work half the time. so it doesn't say that something can't ever go there, but if you make that boundary, then you know that's not supposed to be there, right? Everything is supposed to stay.
Yeah.
Whatever I have needs to fit in there. If this is just good practical shed stuff, but if I did that in my shed, then I could always walk in. I would have plenty of room. I could pull stuff down that I need to. I wouldn't have to pull everything out of the shed to get to what I need. So you decide what's important and decide how much room you have.
Yeah.
Put the important stuff in first, and then start putting the other stuff. And here's the hard part. Are you guys ready? And then we're 33 minutes over, so we're gonna have to wrap up quick.
Okay.
Quickly is the adverb.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have to know not everything can go back in.
That's a tough one.
Not everything can go back in. Some of the stuff is not going to go back in. And if I decide that already, then as I'm putting stuff in, it's not what order do I put it in, it's which stuff can go in and which stuff can't. Some of the stuff isn't going to go in, which stuff has to go in.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's smart. And I know we're out of time, but I'd say as you're putting stuff back in, the important stuff that you put in first needs to be accessible. So don't crowd it with the smaller, less important
that's
stuff.
That's the boundary stuff. You know,
I know, but don't put something in front of it.
Yeah, have to have room. So so we're gonna leave you hanging today. But if you tune in with us on Sunday, then we're gonna talk about the important stuff. And so that goes back to Jim's, I need to know which no. So we're going to tell you is which not knows.
Not knows.
Which not knows. That's not the Poconos. We're going to tell you which not knows. Say no to the right things. And that sounds weird, doesn't it? We always think we need to say no to the wrong things. But we want to say no to the things that we should say no to. More importantly, we don't want to say no to the things that we should not say no to.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Man, I'm being really cryptic.
Sounds a little bit like priorities again.
Yes.
Now we've talked about priorities quite a bit here.
You know, but somehow it still I keep bumping into those.
It's almost like talking about priority is a priority.
I think it should be. Let me pray for you guys. Their heads are spinning now, trying to figure out what we just said in the last 3 minutes. Right. Father, as we approach this, particularly coming up this Sunday, Lord, would you give us wisdom? God, the prayer that we began to pray in the beginning of the series, would you give us wisdom to know what to do? And then, Lord, give us the courage to do it. As we look to seek out the priorities of things in our lives so that we can unclutter, get rid of some of the other things to make room for you to work. We ask that you do this in an amazing way that brings honor and glory to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thanks for hanging in with us on this Know Your Nose.
Very good. I say just call Tony. He'll haul things away for you.
But he needs to make sure he hauls the right things away.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
You come out and wonder where your car is.
Yeah, that
true. Might be a problem.
I don't know. And Kathy just needs to brace herself. She might be bringing something home.
Yeah. Tony didn't hear all this, Kathy, so you're gonna have to get into to go back and watch it. Thanks for hopping in with us, guys, and we will see you. Did I miss any? Let's scroll all the way down to the bottom. There we go. We will see you on Sunday, I hope, so that you'll know which no's to say no to.
All right.
What are the good no's?
The good no's.
I'm gonna go before you guys get even more confused.
You have to know the good no's.
Yeah.
All right. right.
Love you guys. We'll see you Sunday.